Yeah, good morning, everybody. This is Jay, Central Illinois. Emergency garden poppers plot. Poppers plot. That's hard for me to say. Excuse my shadow. Um, we had some good rain last week. I think we're going to get rain this weekend. Hot today, over 100 heat index. But the gardens are doing good. Um, some problems. Um, Getting a little bit of rot on the end of my tomatoes, but they're not staked up, so I kind of figured that. They should come out of it. You can see the garden, sunflowers coming up. Everything's growing. It's packed back in here now. It was just a bare field, if you remember, if you follow along. But see watermelon there. Several in there. There's another over there. I think it's got a bad end on it, but there's one hiding down in there. A bunch of squash in there. That scallop squash just keeps coming on. Knock on wood, the bugs don't like that one. Huh. On to something there. A lot of this stuff is kind of going to seed. Some of it, I hung some radish seeds there. Try to get them out before it rains this weekend. Well, probably tonight or tomorrow. I keep forgetting that. Today's Friday. Wife works the weekends. That confuses me. And she works at 3 a.m. That confuses me too. But by 4 a.m. I'm ready to be in the garden. It's just still dark, so I'm over here. I walk over here, have some breakfast, have coffee, And I try to tell people, this is a by hand garden. Ain't like a garden that you got just outside your house and you got all your tools, your electricity, your house and everything, water to work with. I've got no water here. I've got no electric. I had a tractor come, do some plow work. The rest by hand, I love it. That keeps me kind of in shape. I'll be 65 this year, so. You see the squash down there, some of it's getting borers, but then some of it's not, and some of it's really resistant, so I'll try to pick them out. Potatoes are starting to yellow a little bit, but I'm going to try to stop talking so much. I really don't know where to start. Watermelon, scallop squash, cabbage. There's some late cabbage. The bugs kind of got in it. Nasturtiums in there. More sunflowers. They're all kind of mixed stuff that I've grown for a while. I've got almost 2 bushels of cucumbers out of the garden. I probably have 2 more in there. Need somebody to make pickles. But yeah, you can tell bugs kind of got in that squash a little bit. But I treated it with some stuff and then wasn't a chemical, and it worked. It's just if I would have put it on again after the rain, it would have worked better. There's a big old turnip I'm gonna get seed from. There's a couple big old turnips stashed down in there. Marigolds are coming on. These aren't them African marigolds here. Them just them tall yellow. You can see that cucumber patch there. That's like 5 hills. And squash over there. Whole bunch of buttercup squash in there. I could be probably almost picking, but I've been having deer and raccoon problems. The deer are really pesky. I know I live right on the edge of town, small town. We got a lot of deer around where I live. You see a little squash down in there, or a pumpkin, I'm not sure. I got pumpkins and squash. You see that corn's coming along the edge there, that's where I hand pollinated. I try to do that because sometimes if I beat the coons to it, they might leave it alone. But like this or not, I've been peeing around the edge of this garden and peeing down around the stalks, and that keeps them away from it. Now I'm working my way down this end, and this is the end where they got bad, so I just started, excuse me, peeing down here. Whether people like that or not, I got to find some way to keep them out. You can see here, deer tracks always in the garden. They've just torn my sweet potatoes up. There ain't nothing left of them. You see that? That's a little squash climbed up in the corn. I've been hand pollinating all the corn. Some of it looks kind of strange, but then you see, looky there. He's right there, and then he come over here. Let's see what he did. Oh, he ate one down there, over there. And then on the other end over here, the raccoons got in it. So, but I'm going to deter him one way or another. Buddy's got an old coon hound. I'll just stake out right there in the field. He makes a lot of noise. You scare them off. You see what they do right there. Tear the ears off, bend them over. If they're down lower and they're bent down, they're probably a raccoon. If they're nibbled off from the top, they're probably a deer. So I haven't had too much problems with the other pests, just mainly them two. And that just come on the last 2 years during COVID because there wasn't nobody out. So, and you can see here, see them over here. They just all over the garden. And I was over here at 3:30. They wasn't in here. Yeah, they was in here yesterday evening. That's what the trail cam shows. There's some zinnias. Try to hang coats around the edge of the garden. Sweat real good in them. They don't seem to be too scared much anymore, but this fall I'll take care of a couple of them. There's some cantaloupes in there. Stuff's coming on really good. I haven't had too many tomatoes. Had a few ripe, but had a few rotten. I think they'll come on. Big stand of pumpkins over there. My grandbaby planted. She got some big old pumpkins coming on. I got some over there, some really nice ones. But yeah, these are them yellow marigolds. They're not African ones. They're just tall ones. They're pretty. I'll save seeds from all this stuff for next year. It's all predominantly open pollinated. Always has been. That's that stand of potatoes down there along the edge where I had shoveled that horse poop in there. Sawdust. Didn't really get it spread out very well. And I had a bunch of little potatoes I saved from last year, and they growed almost into vines. I kept them in the dark so they never grew leaves, so I just planted them vines along there. I planted another row of them over there on the other side, and they was all mixed, so I don't know what's going to come of that. I think the potatoes are going to be smaller. Well, I don't know, but we'll see. I've sampled a few, and I do have lots of little peppers coming on now. That's that pepper experiment my grandbaby and me did. I'll have to do that over and put that online. It's pretty easy. I kind of picked that up from a site online. I can't remember what it was, but it was an Asian site. He got all kinds of little tricks on there. He does. They all seem to work. This here watermelon's starting to come on, spread out. It'll make some melons soon. They kind of like to be hidden and stuff. There's some horseradish to start. It'll spread like crazy. There's a sunflower. The top got broke out. I don't know what happened to it. There's another one. These are all multi-heads pretty much. You know, I didn't plant any of the big gray stripe or nothing this year. I wasn't going out to see how big I could get. I just want some sunflowers that's kind of adapted. You know, and they're good. I've grown them there for a long time. Some of them are voluntary, I think. But they didn't voluntary as good this year as last year because I turned the soil over and they was deeper. There's some garlic. That's the rest of that wild garlic that my brother and I found out in the ditch out in the country by his place. He lives about 12 miles out of town. He got a nice garden out there, cows, springs, nice little creek. It's a beautiful place. But there's some more cucumbers. My wife's picked a whole bunch of beets, probably almost a bushel. But the garden's getting to where you can't hardly walk in it. Yeah, see this watermelon is making melons right there. And man, I picked a bunch of cucumbers off there. That pepper there, that's that group pepper, chili, that my grandbaby and I took one seed pod out of the mother pepper over there. That's the mother. These are the offspring. And then I'm going to take seeds from this one, plant them in the house this winter. So I'll have mother, daughter, and grandbaby peppers all growing. I think I'll take this other one, mom in the house. I'll take them in the house over winter. See if I can just keep them growing. But yeah, there's the garden. There's where I come over and sit and just have coffee and stuff. Kind of trying to get me one of them little solar panels so I can charge my little radio and stuff over here. I just don't know which one to buy. Anybody got any ideas? Picked a few onions yesterday. They're not real big. Boy, Deep South Homestead got me on to growing them onions now. Next year it's on. I'm going to have some monster onions. I'll bet you, because that old boy, man, he can grow a garden better than anybody I know. Him and Midwest Gardener. Check them people out. They got skills. But Alan Copler's another one. Yep, that's the garden. I hope you can see this. It wound on. I've talked and talked, and believe me, I could talk a lot more. Then again, don't mind my shadow. Peace, and have the greatest day ever.